Hi everyone, it's Rosette again, this time with lesson 2 on the Gypsy. Today we're going to learn about adding items to a grouping and about the welding feature. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's hit our Cricut button, and it's going to again load our Cricut application. This time, instead of clicking new, you should have saved your last project, and we're going to open up an existing project. So instead of hitting the new button, we're going to hit the open button, and we're going to open Lesson 1. So click on Lesson 1. You should see the item that we saved on the right hand side. Click OK, and it'll pop open for you. See that? Now I don't like to leave things active on the screen when I go to travel out to get another icon, so I'm going to click off of it, because let me show you what happens. If these two items are active, it's just like a cursor. Remember the cursor that we had in the beginning? Well, this time we have images active, so that when we travel out to our font cartridge, you'll see them listed up here. We don't want them up there, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to my mat, deactivate them, and then tap my keyboard. That's pretty much why I started tapping off on different areas, because I kept coming back here and having a list of all my icons up there, and I didn't want that. So let's go ahead and we're going to go to the Gypsy font, and we are going to look for, here it is, the letter I, but in this little cute curly Q thing here. So I'm going to turn on that feature. I'm going to hit the I, and then I'm going to go back to my mat, and there's my I, really small. So I'm going to go ahead and increase the size some. I'm going to show you different ways to increase sizes, but right now I just want to go over welding and grouping, because that seems to be what's confusing people. Increase the size just a little more. Move it up. Oh, maybe made it too big. Okay. Alright, so now I have this eye on here, and I want to add it to my grouping of the I Heart shoes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tap off. And now, remember from our last video, how do we group? First thing we need to do is, remember, our Gypsy is just a computer, and we needed to tell it what to do step by step. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tap the grouping button. Gypsy now knows that I want to group something, and now I have to point and select the things that I want to group. Well, I want to group that with that. So I want to group my heart and my shoe with my eye. And you notice they're all blue now, and I have my box around them. So now that I've grouped everything that I want, I can turn off my grouping. They are still grouped. I just can't add any other things on here. Now, right now it's pretty simple, but once you get a whole bunch of items on your mat, that will become important, so that you don't accidentally add something to a grouping, which I've done tons of times when I'm doing complex images. Alright, so now within this grouping, I want to bring the eye next to the heart and the shoe, and I want to bring them close enough so that when I cut them, they are all one piece. So again, I'm going to double click, I'm going to tap off, tap on to activate my grouping, double click my eye, move it over, move it up, and I'm going to make it just so that it overlaps. Remember, when you weld something, your items have to overlap some in order for them to weld. Tap off, tap on. I'm going to do the same to the shoe. There we go. Maybe move it down some. Okay. Tap off. Now all of this is grouped, and if you notice, it's all grouped. See how it's grouped? Now I'm going to weld it together. So I'm going to go to my Advanced tab, and I'm going to click the welding key. Now the welding key will only work if you've grouped items together. So come back over here, all my items are grouped, come over here, turn on the welding, and if you want to make sure that it's welded, there's this little eyeball here, click that and it'll do preview. Now I've got to let you know that the more items you put on here, the longer it'll take to preview, because it's trying to figure out where all the cuts are and where all the cuts aren't. So I'm going to go ahead and maximize this just a little bit so you can see what we're looking at here. All the red lines are your active cut lines, and what I mean by that is that if I was just cutting the shoe or just the eye or just the heart, the whole thing would cut. both at the front, the heel, and back here. Because these two are overlapping, these two little small portions become inactive cut lines. That's an inactive cut line, that's an inactive cut line. But everything in red is active. Okay, so now I'm going to turn off preview, because as long as you're in preview, you can't do anything, you can't manipulate. So I'm going to turn it off. And now I'm going to put my mat back to 100% by clicking on this. And there you go. And now I have welded everything together within my grouping. So let's go ahead and tap off. Go back to basic. What we did was we grouped everything together first, remember? I'm going to ungroup everything. We grouped everything together. Then we moved them. Then we hit the advanced key. And we welded them. And then hit preview. And now we're ready to cut our image. All right, well, thanks for watching. I just wanted to show you again a little bit about grouping. If you have any questions, please leave me a message and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, thanks. Oh, let's go ahead and save this. I forgot to save it. So let's go ahead and hit the button. Hit save. And then, oops, I should hit save as. Okay, well, next time it'll be lesson 1 again, but normally what you'll do is you'll hit the button, you'll hit save as, and then hit lesson 2, click OK, and then that'll do save as. All right, thanks for watching.